See what he says, and we got opened up like a can of worms. He says, I'll put this the nicest possible way. Go and hang yourself.
End your miserable life.
Oh my God, that's after one defeat. Holy shit.
He went from like very calmish to absolute fucking raging and shouting.
And the stadium erupts in red, white and blue. You've never seen anything like it.
Let's go.
Manchester, brace yourself. Rangers are coming!
Hi everyone and welcome to the next episode of the iReady podcast. As ever, I'm your host Derek and with me is my co-host Dave. How are you doing, Dave?
Happy, smiley, enjoying life, enjoying football, and things are just great now, Derek, and I just thought I wanted to stay like this.
What a difference a few weeks make.
Exactly. No, it's been good, Derek. There's been some good performances, some excellent results, and as you know, we're about to get into, here's hope that it just keeps continuing for us.
Yes, so 3 Premiership games to cover tonight, 3 wins as well. A few iffy performances, I would have said, or certainly parts were iffy anyway, but we'll get into that in due course. Yeah. So without further ado, we'll go down the tunnel and onto the park. So the first game we've got to cover was Sunday, the 3rd of December. It was a 2-0 win at home against St Mirren in the Premiership. Obviously a big important game, as they all are, but St Mirren sitting third at that point as well. Yeah. So they've been playing brilliantly this season. They've been getting the results, so it was always going to be a tough game. We beat them in the last game, and we were hoping to, do the same, and we duly did. Before the game kicked off, though, I think it was like the day before, Rangers issued a statement to fans to remind them not to bring flares as it's illegal. I mean, some fans were a wee bit miffed about it, but if you read between the lines, it was a tick box exercise by the club to say to the authorities, look, we issued a statement, what else do you want us to do? Because that's all we can do. So we lined up with 5 changes from the rather disappointing Limassol game. We lined up Butland, Tavernier, Goldson, Balogun, Barisic, Lundstrom, Lawrence, Cantwell, McCausland, Seamat and Dessers. On the subs bench we have McCrory, Ridvan, Suter, Lammers, Cifuentes, Matondo, Sterling, Davis and Danilo. Dave, the first half was a very, very hard watch, wasn't it?
It was. I think, going by the previous performance, as you said, especially the disappointing game against Limassol, I think it maybe a wee bit nervy, Derek, and not to take anything away from St Mirren, who you quite rightly said at the start had been playing really, really well this season, but we were expecting a bit more, weren't we?
Yeah, I mean, it was really just the first half, really stuffy, very pedestrian, a lot of sideways passing, really not doing anything in front of goal. Our first real chance, the first note I've got here is on the 30th minute. McCausland was on the right, he cuts inside, a lovely chipped ball to Dessers in the box. Dessers was miles offside and he was taken out by the keeper. Kind of fortunate he was offside because it was a clear penalty for me anyway.
Yep.
37th minute, Lundstrom gives the ball away in our half while trying a sideways pass. St Mirren player takes it forward a few yards, tries a curling effort from 20 yards and a great save by Butland out for the corner. I mean, there you go. They get a chance from nothing and they make Butland do a save. Yeah. We can't even do that. It's a story of what we've been playing like for the past few while. Yep. However, we did make it 1-0 on the 45th minute. Finally, some forward-thinking play. Tavernier from the back to Goldson. Goldson passes to the right to McCausland, who takes it forward. A lovely long ball from McCausland to Dessers, who takes it on, cuts it back, cuts it inside to Cantwell, who tries to find a gap in the box. It falls to Seamat, who blasts a shot into the net. Just really forward-thinking play that. The first time we've done that all game, and what do? We score from it. How many more times do we need to say? Just go forward.
I know. We say it all the time, but thankfully, great time for us to get the goal as well, because as you say, it had been stuffy, Derek. There hadn't been much happening for us at all, and we were thinking that it was maybe going to be, goalless going in at the interval, but thankfully they made the breakthrough and got that very vital first goal.
Yes. Second half, it was a wee bit better, but it was largely more of the same. We were certainly in control. I can't remember much the St Mirren done. 52nd minute was a shot from Tavernier outside the box. A good save parried away by the keeper. 59th minute, a shot from St Mirren and a comfortable save from Butland. 61st minute, Dessers off and Danilo on. And the 70th minute, we got our second goal with Sima scoring. Cantwell in the middle, near the halfway line. A lovely through ball to Sima. The gap in defence was worse than ours, actually, in this point. Sima picks it up and a lovely play shot into the bottom corner. Just brilliant from Cantwell there, exploiting the gaps, going forward. And Sima, you can always rely on him, it seems.
Yep, no, that's what we're looking for from Cantwell, isn't it? As you say, delightful pass through. And Sima, who would say, Derek, up until this game, maybe went off the boil a wee bit. He was maybe needing a wee spark just to get him back in amongst the goals. That was certainly a fantastic strike by him, really accurate as well, and a tremendous second goal just to kill the game off at, the perfect time for us as well. No, it was a great goal all round.
Yes. 80th minute, McCausland and Barisic off, Ridvan and Matondo on. 85th minute, Cantwell and Tavernier off, Lammers and Sterling on. 90th minute, Lammers on the right side of goal, in space, tries to shoot from 6 yards, and it still goes wide of the far post. So how can he even do that? Oh.
I'm saying nothing, Derek. I'm saying nothing.
Well, there's a point in the next game I'll get to, but yeah, just Lammers. But anyway, it wasn't a big flashy game. It was perfunctory. It was job done. As I said, the only major thing that Butland had to do was in that first half. They never really tested them at all in that second half. Problem is, we never really tested their keeper much as well. We need to start sorting that one out. But it's 3 points, and I'll take it.
Definitely. As you say, a stuffy game against a potentially difficult opponent, but we dealt with it well, and great to see, as I say, Sima getting back amongst the goals, because as we're about to get into in the next few games, he's played a pivotal part for us, hasn't he?
Yes. So the next game was Wednesday the 6th of December. It was a 1-0 win away against Hearts in the Premiership. Dave, take it away.
Yep, well, right at the start of the game, as we know, there had to be a couple of changes, one being forced because Barisic was out injured, so it was a recall for Ridvan Yilmaz at left back, and Danilo also getting a start up front. So the team that was out for this game, Butland, Tavernier, Goldson, Balogun, Ridvan, Lundstrom, Lawrence, Cantwell, McCausland, Sima and Danilo, with McCrory, Suter, Dessers, Lammers, Cifuentes, Matondo, Sterling, Roof and Davies on the bench. And about the sort of first 20 minutes of the game, really not much happening. The only sort of talking points were an early let-off for us when it was a Rangers corner, and it was James Tavernier. He passes to the edge of the box to Lundstrom. He tries to pass it back to Yilmaz, who, as I say, was just back, but he just blatantly gives the ball away. Poor effort by him. Hearts break at speed right down. Ball falls to Shankland. He gets to the edge of the box, but thankfully blasts it over the bar. So just coming for our own sloppy play. But then, Derek, what happens? The guy's only just back, playing a few games, and unfortunately, Tom Lawrence gets injured. He goes down holding his thigh, and a minute later, he has to come off. So the guy, I don't know what it is, Derek. Is he just injury prone, or has he just been unlucky? Can't seem to catch a break. I really don't know, but especially just now when we're really sort of light in midfield, that's a big, big blow for us, isn't it?
I mean, I don't know what to say, because he's one of these players that has went out an unfortunate injury. He's been out for a long time. He's had at least 2 comebacks from that injury initially, and he kept breaking down. He's came back, he's been injured, he's went out, he's came back, he's got injured, he's been out, and this is again the 3rd time I think now. He's came back, he's got injured. There comes a point, and he's not the only one in the team.
No, definitely not.
Maybe we just need to let him go, because we can't keep going on, and we can't keep relying on players like this. We've brought a new background staff in, which we'll get into as well, to try and solve these injuries. I mean, it's been well documented. Clement can't believe the amount of injuries and the same type of muscular injuries we're getting in the one season in a very short space of time. Yeah. Maybe this will sort it going forward, but if this is going to keep going on with certain players, there's no time for sentimentality. We've got to get rid of them. I'm sorry, he's a good player, but we just can't rely on him. Like Roof, like Hollander was. count how many other players we've got in the team right now like that.
You can add Ryan Jack to that, unfortunately, as well. It's maybe no being quite as bad, but just seems to be out all the time. Though it's been a nightmare, Derek. I'm like you, and you've said Tazeri, he's a good player, but we've only been able to see it in flashes, haven't we, in certain games, and the rest of the time he's been out. So a bit of a nightmare there. So he had to come off, like I say there, and Cifuentes came on. That was on the 18th minute. 25th minute, though, Hearts with their first real chance, and they work the ball into the box. They get back to the byline. They cut the ball back. There's a shot for the Hearts striker. Butland, he was out to the Hearts player. He basically had an open goal, but a fantastic goal line stop by James Tavernier, managed to get his body in the way. So Hearts had a great chance to score there. Thankfully, nothing came of it. 30th minute, Rangers put the ball into the net from a cross in from Summer Cantwell, who strikes the ball. It falls back to Danilo. He flicks the ball into the goal, but clearly was offside. I've got to say that. I was jumping up at the time, but no, it was offside. But thankfully, 4 minutes later, we did get the breakthrough, and what a fantastic goal it was, considering where it started from, because the ball was away back with James Tavernier in the right back area with two players on him, trying to get the ball out of defence. He basically flicks the ball out to Ross McCausland, who's a bit further infield, and McCausland, with the first time, sort of dinked ball back to Tav into midfield. Tav runs and then just plays the most outrageous through ball to Summer, who was on the left-hand side, but cut in front of the Hearts defenders who didn't have a clue where he was. He latches on to that fantastic ball at the edge of the box. Sander Clark runs out. Maybe should have been better goalkeeping. I wasn't caring, but he left a big gap, and Summer was there just to stroke the ball into the back of the net for the edge of the box. Derek, what a fantastic move and a fantastic goal, wasn't it?
I mean, there's going to be a new award getting handed out to Tavernier at the award ceremony at the end of the year. The Scott Allen pass of the season.
It definitely was.
Because Scott Allen's just lost that award from that pass. I mean, it wasn't just the pass, it was the work that Tavernier had to do. It was the sheer determination from him to chest the ball down, get it, make the run, then play that ball. And you cannot underestimate the work that Sima had to do as well. Cut in behind the player, cross him, and then still finish it as well. Just an all-round outstanding goal. And that's what's annoying, because Tavernier's crossing all game up until that point was absolutely atrocious, but his passing was great. So it's a weird thing there, but what a goal.
Aye, fantastic goal. And like I said, from where it started to where it finished, it was just tremendous play. Then in the 40th minute, the half chance, Ridvan, he crosses in for the left-hand side. It takes a deflection and falls to Cantwell, but it's quite high. He can't really get a shot away, but it takes a sort of flick at it, and it's just over the bar. But I think if that had maybe been about a foot lower, he would have got that definitely on target. And then a great chance for 2-0 in the 47th minute. A ball in from the left. Balogun heads the ball down straight to Danilo, who's inside the 6-yard box. The 6-yard box, he's not on the edge of the box, apparently. 6-yard box, and he turns round and just hits it straight at Clark. And then he reacts sort of slowly, because Clark palms it back out to him. And I just feel if he'd have got there just a second earlier, a nanosecond earlier, he would have got a better chance. But he manages to get a shot away eventually, but it's easily cleared in a way. So a really gilt-edged chance there for Danilo, and it was a bit of a story of the day for Danilo. But then it was half-time, so not a great first half by either team. But we did have the slender lead thanks to that absolute piece of brilliance by James Tavernier and a great finish by Summer. So into the second half, the 52nd minute, another incredible chance for Danilo again. Clark spills a ball, like absolute nothing ball, straight in front of him, and instead he just absolutely blasting it. He tries to place it, and Hearts managed to get the block in on the line and clear it. So again, gilt-edged chance for a striker. Really should be scoring that. And then Yilmaz, he has a fantastic chance as well. He gets onto a pass from Lundstrom to the byline and fizzes the ball right across the face of the goal. Really unlucky there, just past the post. Then the 63rd minute, free kick on the right into Goldson. He heads the ball, but it deflects off the Hearts defender's back and out for a corner for Goldson as well. Really should have had that on target. It's bread and butter to a guy like him. And then another great chance for the setting does Lundstrom. He shoots low for the edge of the box. Clark saves it, and it falls straight to Yilmaz, sort of again, kind of right in front of goal, and manages to blast it over the bar. Really should be hitting the target, Derek. That was another gilt-edged chance. So far, at least 2 or 3 times that we really should have been 2-0 up at this stage.
Yeah, playing decent at that point, I think, and we were the only team that were really in it.
Yeah, definitely. So double sub in the 71st minute, Yilmaz and Danilo off. And we'll get into that. Danilo coming off after I've done the rest of this game. Roof and Sterling on. And then in the 80th minute, another great chance with Balogun with a through ball to Roof. And for some reason, he tried to find Sima in the box. And Sima shoots, and the keeper pulls off a great save, but it's offside. But Roof, in acres of space there, I'm really shocked he didn't go for that one himself. He could definitely got a shot away. Don't know if it was just rustiness or nerves with Roof, but it's certainly not like him. 81st minute, another chance. Goldson with a long ball to Sima inside the box. Sima dinks the ball just over the goalkeeper and just inches wide. Really unlucky there. And then only 3 minutes injury time getting played here, which I was quite surprised about. But full time, so at the end it was a bit nervy coming into the end. Hearts were putting a bit of pressure on, but we really should have been a lot more comfortable with a large amount of clear chances that we'd missed. But at the end of the day, a fantastic victory, certainly away at Tynecastle. Very small number of Rangers fans there, but can I say small amount of home supporters there as well, with the amount of empty seats at Tynecastle. So we spoke about the allocation for away fans and stuff like that. We know what it is, but I was expecting our Tynecastle to be completely sold out there, but it wasn't. But an excellent 3 points regardless, Derek.
Yeah, I mean, just delighted with the win. As you said, a lot of pressure was getting put on them in the second half. At least we were making the keeper make some saves. Butland had a good save in that as well, round about the 70th minute. The one thing that I wanted to say was Cantwell came off and Lammers came on the 87th minute. Now, in about the 92nd minute, shortly after the Lammers came on, obviously, Lammers tried to flick on a header to the right wing to McCausland. It was a poor header. It was a really poor header. McCausland would have needed to be twice the speed of Usain Bolt to get to it. But Lammers still had the cheek to have a go at McCausland, who, bearing in mind, had played the full game. And Lammers had just came on for 2 minutes there. What was Lammers thinking about? He's not going to do himself any favours having a go at a player who's just played the whole game, who's playing a hell of a lot better than you, and you play him a ball that it would need to be faster than the speed of light to get to. And it was picked up by several pundits as well. What's he on about? So it was just craziness from Lammers there. But we got the result. It was a difficult place to go, notoriously, at Tynecastle. The fans, I can almost forgive Hearts fans, especially, not coming out in numbers. It was a cold Wednesday night in the run-up to Christmas, cost of living crisis and all that. But at the same time, I know what you're saying, Dave.
Yeah.
If you're going to moan about ticket allocations and we're not going to give, away fans more tickets because we can sell out our own, that's fine, but if you can't, give us them back, because we would have taken fans there. We would have. So, but that's all.
Especially though as well, I think they'd won like 4 games in the bounce or something. Naismith was manager of the month, so you'd be thinking that the fans would be, thinking they would be well up for this game as well. So I was quite disappointed. But going back just briefly, Derek, to the substitution that was made where Danilo has came off, it actually turns out that Danilo has suffered quite a serious injury and looks as if he's going to be out for quite some amount of time. So another injury blow for us. And he'd been very poor in my opinion in the game, regardless. But can't seem to catch any breaks with the injury front, can we?
I mean, I wish it was breaks of people's legs, to be honest, because it would have been easier cut and dry injuries, whereas we're getting muscular injuries. Danilo's initial injury with his head knock, when he scored the goal, you can almost forgive that type of injury because it was an impact injury, where we're getting a lot of niggly muscular injuries, which is the big problem just now, and it's making players be out for weeks and months at a time, and then they're never the same when they come back, or they're never up to full fitness, and it takes them a long while to get back. So it's It's so frustrating just now, Dave.
Very, yeah, it certainly is. And after the game, the manager, Philip Clement, was asked if a striker was the main priority in January, and he basically said, well, because of that, it now really has to be. So we'll just have to watch this space to see what happens there. But going by his reaction, it seems that he is going to be out for quite some time.
Yeah. But anyway, next game and the last game I've got to cover, it was on Saturday the 9th of December. It was a 3-1 win at home against Dundee in the Premiership. We had 5 changes from the Hearts game. We lined up Butland, Tavernier, Suter, Balogun, Barisic, Lundstrom, Cifuentes, Cantwell, Matondo, Sima and Dessers. On the subs bench were McCrory, Ridvan, Goldson, Lammer, Sterling, Roof, Davis, King and McCausland. So I missed the first minute of the game because my stream wasn't up at that point. I think we had a chance against us in that first wee minute there. And then on the 4th minute, Dundee worked the ball through our defence and had a shot and a great fingertip diving save to keep it out the net by Butland, and he puts it out for the corner. However, on the 5th minute, the resulting corner, Dundee made it 1-0. Kind of out of nothing, to be honest, as well. It was a deep corner, flicked into the middle. We tried to get our head to it. It flicks to the back post to their attacker, who controls it and shoots it in. So simple. Why can't we just clear our lines? In fairness to the attacker, it was great the way he controlled it and had the composure to put it in the net, something we lack sometimes up front. But it was just so poor from our defence once again.
It was, and you know, Derek, I watched that big striker Bakayoko in there, and he gave our defenders a tough time the whole match. He was great at holding onto the ball and holding play up and really using his physicality, you know, to his advantage against us, and that's kind of sometimes what we've been looking for from Dessers to do for us, I think. But as you say, fair play to him. It was an excellent control. He got the shot on target, which is what you're looking for your striker to do. The ball ended up in the net, but really, really poor defending by us.
Yes. And then the game was a bit pedestrian for a good 15 minutes after that, until we scored the goal on the 20th minute with Dessers scoring. It was a long ball from the right into the box to nobody from Tavernier. It was headed away by the defender, but only to Cantwell on the edge of the box, who plays a great layoff to Dessers, who tries to shoot. It was blocked. He gets the break of the ball, a bit lucky that one there, but Dessers picks it up again and has some composure for a change and shoots it into the back of the net. A kind of Dessers type of goal because of the way we got the break of the ball there, but it was great composure from him nonetheless as well. Brilliant.
Yeah, it was, yeah, and it showed you, you know, he did go for the shot on his right foot, didn't come off, came back to him, and then he just absolutely lashed at it with his left foot. Goalkeeper had absolutely no chance. So, yeah, you know, really good instinctive finish by him, and I was certainly looking at that point for him to, you know, the fact he'd got the goal, for him to hopefully go on and have a bit of a dominant game for us. But pleased, as you say, because it was a bit pedestrian at that point, just for us to be back into the match, and don't really think we looked back after that.
No, we certainly kicked on from there. 22nd minute, Seaman driving the ball from the left wing. He cuts in and has a shot at the near post, saved by the keeper out for the corner. 23rd minute, the game stopped for a VAR check. It goes to the screen. The defender was clearly holding on to the shirt of Seaman, preventing him getting the ball, and a penalty was duly given. We'll get into the fallout from that afterwards, but it was a clear penalty, Dave. Yep. Once again, a defender holding our player in the box. Great for us. I don't know why managers of opposition teams are not getting their defenders told about this. What was funny about it is that, granted, both of them were kind of at it, but the defender was still at it when the ball was coming over, and he actually fell to his knees, and he still was holding on and pulling the jersey. Yeah. So nobody can have any complaints about that whatsoever. But anyway, in the 26th minute, up steps Tavernier, makes it 2-1. He shoots to the left, the keeper dives the wrong way. Great penalty.
Certainly was, yep, and great for us to be in front at that stage. And going back to the penalty, Derek, 100%, you could see that Sima was jumping and was unable to get any height on his jump because you know, the defender was pulling the jersey back. So definite penalty, dispatched perfectly as well by James Tavernier, and that was us then in the lead. So great stuff.
Yes, we didn't need to wait long though for the third goal, because that came on the 34th minute to make it 3-1, and it was Sima who scored. Tavernier with an outstanding outswinging corner from the right to the middle of the box, and a Goldson-style bullet header by Sima into the back of the net. Not a typical Sima goal, but if they can add that to his arsenal as well, all the more for it. Brilliant.
It was. I was actually going to say Hateley-esque, Derek, for the older fans out there, because that's what it looked like. timed his run perfectly, got up and absolutely battered that header into the back of the net. I love goals like that. I love headed goals, especially ones like that. And for Simmer back to being on fire again, Derek, and that's what we're looking for.
Yes. 36-minute, Dundee had the ball in the back of our net, but it was a clear foul on Butland before. It was just absolutely baffling because there was hesitation from Clancy, who appeared to wait on VAR giving the decision. It was offside in any case, but people complaining, oh no, that's a perfectly good goal. No, it wasn't. Was it soft in the keeper? Absolutely not. He just came barging into the keeper. And I know that keepers get a lot of protection, but there was no need for a lot of protection in this way because it was a clear foul, Dave. I can't believe people were complaining about that.
Well, obviously they would because it was us, yeah. But there we go.
Not long after that, 42nd minute, Cantwell had the ball in the back of the net after a great work, got the shot off, but it was ruled a foul. I still have no idea why we got the foul against us there. The Dundee player was sliding in before Cantwell got the ball, and he's the one that actually gave away the foul. So once again, the referee seemed to half guess it, and he blew for the whistle without knowing what was happening. He's meant to let the play run on, is he not? And then let VAR pick that up if it was a foul in the process. But he just didn't seem to even see it. I don't know what the foul was for, Dave.
No, I definitely don't. And it says something when you go back and you rewind things back 2 or 3 times and you still can't see why it was a foul at all. As you say, I don't even think Kevin Clancy knew really. He obviously saw something out the corner of his eye or whatever, but it certainly wasn't enough to bring the goal back. And it was a fantastic goal by Cantwell. You've got to say that. But quite rightly, what you said, Derek, the game should flow. And if there's anything picked up, then VAR would contact him. So Kevin Clancy making an absolute arse of it, as he's done many times when he's been the referee against us, Derek. Any time I see that his name is there for refereeing our games, I know that we're not going to get it easy. And there was certainly absolutely nothing wrong with that goal.
No, just dire as usual from the Clancy show. 45th minute, a lovely passage are played down the left, multiple block shots. Tavernier chips it and it hits off the bar. A great save by the keeper. Desser's getting held and he was actually pushed to the ground. Nothing given and it was eventually cleared. Great play all around. But where was VAR and where was the referee not giving the penalty for that one? Because that was a clear penalty. Tavernier very vociferous in his claims to the referee for the penalty as well. But Kevin Clancy is one of these referees who, if you've been given a penalty in the first half, you're never getting a second one.
Derek, it was actually quite shocking why that wasn't given or picked up by VAR or whatever. Because as you say, first of all, James Tavernier really unlucky there with that shot. That would have been one of the goals of the season. But when that ball came back in, he was clearly actually on top of Dessers when the ball got played back in. It wasn't he was pulling him down or standing next to him. He was actually right on top of him. As clear a foul as you will see in the box. Anybody could have seen it. Again, I've watched that one back. I don't know how many times watching the highlights. As clear as you can get. And Clancy gives us absolutely nothing. Shocking refereeing.
Well, if it's shocking refereeing that one was, then this was an absolute disgrace for me. 49th minute, Bakayoko goes down injured. There was a long VAR check. In the 50th minute, Cifuentes was sent off. Basically, what had happened is Bakayoko slid in. Cifuentes stood on him high on the leg, just below the knee. Bearing in mind, it was on the ground at this point. It wasn't as if it was high foot he had. I mean, it wasn't even a challenge from Cifuentes. He had almost tried to stick his foot out, get the ball. Bakayoko then slid in, and as he was putting his foot down, he stood on his foot. There was no intent there whatsoever, and I know intent's not part of it. There was no malice. There was no force in it at all. And to give a straight red card for that is an absolute joke, in my opinion. I know Dermot Gallagher said, it was a sending off. In today's thing, any type of stud high above the knee like that, it's getting given as a red card. But I'm sorry, that was nothing like, the Stevie May, Ryan Jack one from a few seasons ago, which kind of kicked all this off when referees started clamping down on that. It was nothing like that. He was putting his foot down, and it was the opposition player that slid into that position. So where's he meant to put his foot? He can't put it anywhere else.
You've actually just took the words out of my mouth because I was about to ask you exactly the same thing there. where on earth was his foot supposed to go? He went to put his foot to go on top of the ball, and as he was coming down, Bakayoko slid in. So there was no other place for Cifuentes' foot to go anywhere. And it makes it look worse when you slow it down so much that it looks as if it was intentional. But in real time, Derek, you could quite clearly see that he was going for the ball, and then he had absolutely nowhere to go. And ridiculous decision yet again. And, you know, you could see the disbelief by all the other players. Even the Dundee players didn't even think it was a sending off, because none of them were running about going daft, you know, shouting at the referee or anything like that. So, you know, complete farce. I don't know how we came to that decision. But again, just like we said before, Kevin Clancy, absolute nightmare anytime he referees our games.
Yeah, I mean, folk are saying that he was given a yellow card initially for it, but the way he brung his card out after the VAR decision had been, it's almost as if he was about to give a yellow and then he's flashed a red. So I don't understand what that was all about. He should have just surely, you know, shook his hands with the yellow cards and then given the red, but he never done that. It's just weird all around. And I don't know if I don't know what had happened there, if that's just miscommunication from VAR, because you never get to see anything. But the actual decision, I mean, Cifuentes was the one who made the move first, and it was, as you said, it was Bakayoko that slid in. So, yeah, but Rangers are appealing that. It's not even a fast track thing now, because it's basically you've got a certain time frame to lodge your appeal, and it's basically heard within a couple of days now, rather than dragged on for weeks and weeks. So it'll be getting held tomorrow or today as you hear listen to this, but. We'll see. I'm not hopeful, because those type of things sometimes are given as red cards, but from the reasons outlined there, I don't see how it can be given as a red card.
And from the playing side of things, Derek, he wasn't setting the heather on fire, Cifuentes, but I actually thought he had quite a decent game when he came on against Hearts when Lawrence got injured. I thought he actually dealt with the game really quite well, playing that sort of defensive role. And up to that stage, he was doing everything that he needed to do without being a standout. But it now leaves us incredibly short, because I think we've basically only got Lundstrom and Cantwell that are only sort of fit midfielders. So it's again, it's leaving us struggling, certainly with the next two big games coming up. So I hope that we do manage to get the appeal through. But like you said, I'm not going to hold out much chance of it happening.
So into half-time, Michael Malls came on at half-time for the draw, and he broke down in tears with all the chants and the support he was given, and thanked the fans as well. Just unbelievable to see him back so quickly after a major operation like that, and I'm glad he's on the mend. Just outstanding.
Fantastic, yeah. Still a really fit guy, Derek, as you've been seeing on his social media and stuff, but great to see. He was really quite emotional there, and, you know, loved by us all, and you can see that he's over in the country a lot. Obviously, really still enjoys his time here, so great to see.
Yes. So at half-time, we made two changes. Matondo and Cantwell off, McCausland and Sterling on. No any injuries, apparently, thankfully for that one. It was purely tactical, because obviously we were down to 10 men. 56th minute, McCausland on the right with a shot and a save by the keeper at a tight angle. 58th minute, Dundee with a shot on target, but it was right at Butland. 58th minute, this is when Clancy just lost the plot again. Clear jersey pull on Dessers, preventing him breaking. A foul was given, no yellow. Yeah. It was a clear yellow card every day of the week. A minute later, a foul against us for a pullback. It was Barisic this time. We get the yellow card. No hesitation whatsoever. And Clement was absolutely raging at this point here. And Clancy, being the absolute dick that he is, he ends up giving Clement a yellow card as well. We don't mind Barisic getting a yellow card for that one, because it was a yellow card. He clearly prevented them getting forward, them on the break. It's a yellow card offence. What we don't like is the fact that there was an exact same challenge less than a minute before by their players, but no yellow card. Where's the consistency? I say this time and time again, Dave. We don't ask for special treatment. We ask for fair treatment. And once again, Kevin Clancy is a dick who wasn't giving us it.
I've said it time and time again, and I'll say it again. Any time I know that he's a referee, I just know we're going to get nothing for us. And the only reason that we got the penalty with him being in charge, because it was flagged up on VAR and it was obvious that was it. If that had been down to him, he would have just let the play continue. So no, he's an absolute nightmare any time that we have him as a referee.
Yeah. 61st minute, a rash challenge by, it was either Tavernier or Sterling, I'm not too sure, right on the edge of the box. Very lucky that there. It was a silly challenge to put in as well, but was clearly outside the box. It was just fortunate that it was.
Yeah.
But you had all the Celtic fans claiming, oh no, that was clearly inside the box. And then still pictures showing you, no, it was clearly outside the box. Yet they were still claiming, no, that was inside the box. Just the mind boggles with the folk anyway. 72nd minute, Dessers off, Roof on. 74th minute, ball in the middle of our box. Dundee attacker controls and we kick out of the corner. 77th minute, a long free kick into the Dundee box. The ball bounces, falls to Balogun at the back post, gets a shot off at an angle, cleared off the line, and then eventually cleared. There was a head knock for Sima in the process as well. He was down for a good few minutes. Fortunately, he's back up and there was nothing untoward that's happened there. 89th minute, Lundstrom off and King on. 90th minute, Lammy for Dundee finally gets a yellow card. Multiple fouls, multiple obstructions. He was the one, I believe, who fouled Dessers getting forward just before Barisic got the yellow card. Finally, on the 90th minute, he gets a yellow card. 91st minute, last piece of play here. Sterling with a peach of a shot from the left side of the box from 20 yards off the inside of the far post. Rebounds out to Sima, who blasts it over the bar in a half volley. Just unlucky it wouldn't sit up there, and I think he had a wee bit more time than he thought, but a wee bit more composure, that would have been number 4 there. But it was brilliant from Sterling, none the same. But delighted with that. 3-1 winners. Should have been 4. Kevin Clancy's still a dick.
Derek, I actually, when the game finished, when I look back, it's probably about the best that I've felt from even still quite a mediocre performance from us. But if you look at the circumstances in the game, with the sending off, with everything going against us, Dundee still getting the fair sort of opportunities to put us under pressure. And, our defence dealing with it very well with 10 men and still managing to get some really good chances to score a 4th. So, I was really pleased, and it showed me as well that Philip Clement has got plans up his sleeve for sort of these eventualities, and it's maybe the first time in a long time that I've felt that from a manager, that he does have tactics and he does have a game plan, for whatever gets thrown at us. So yeah, I was really pleased with that. Great 3 points, and it's getting us ready for these all-important next few games that are coming up.
Yeah, I mean, these 3 games here has started to turn my mind now, because I was starting to see shades of Beale with Clement, with obviously an initial upturn of performances, and then they slowly start to fade, and then the big games come along and we lose out in them and we don't get the results, as we've seen in the last podcast. But these 3 games here I've shown you, and as you said, they are, different things have happened, different circumstances, and he has managed to get through the games, and he's got the players through the games. Just the last piece I've got on this Dundee game here. Dundee boss Tony Docherty, at the end of the game in his presser, tied himself in absolute knots over the penalty. He said, the image presented to Kevin Clancy favours the penalty being given, but the reality is there's bustling in the box. Sima has a hold of Aaron Donnelly's shirt, and Kevin Clancy deemed that to be okay. He then gets shown an image in a real pivotal moment of the game at 1 each. You need things to go for you, and that one went against us. So again, a manager of an opposition team coming out and saying something that I would say brings the game into disrepute. He's actually just said it favours the penalty being given. Yeah, because that's a fucking penalty, you dick.
And again, Derek, going back to, as he phrased it, the way that it was shown on VAR for certain angles would favour it. We could say exactly the same thing for Cifuentes getting sent off as well. Because when these things get put down to ultra slow-mo, it looks worse than what it is. It's certainly that was the case for Cifuentes getting sent off. But as I said to you before, on the penalty, you saw that Simmer was trying to get height in his jump, and he couldn't because the defender was pulling him down to the ground. So if that's not a clear penalty, I don't know what is. But again, it's a manager complaining. I don't know if he's maybe trying to insinuate something, Derek, as quite a few of them do, but, anybody looking at that would see that it was a clear penalty, Derek, and, quite rightly it was given.
There just seems to be this thing as, are we giving shot pulls in the box now for just Rangers? And it's like, no, because, one, it was our attacking sense. Yes, shot pulling and wrestling goes on at every single set piece in the box. but it's your level of the way you do it and how long you continue it for. And these players that have been caught out with us getting penalties, they've continued to do it as the ball has been played in. So that's the reason why penalties are getting given against you. So what I think as well is you've got a lot of Celtic fans moaning the fact, there's a short pull that Rangers got on a penalty, but we never get them. Well, they did, because they got one in 2 games ago, and they keep citing the whole fact that in the Ross County game they played a few games ago, that there was 3 jersey pulls in the box that should have been clear penalties. And they use this like as that's the one piece of evidence they've got to say that the reason why referees, and you know what they're going to be doing for God knows how long now, is, that shows you that there's proof of bias. That's the kind of shit. Then Celtic use that as their evidence time and time again. It's not the same. But anyway, fuck Celtic, because they ended up losing at the weekend. It made our weekend unbelievable. Clawed more points back, well, hopefully. So, in the table, we've played 16, won 12, drawn 1, lost 3, scored 33, conceded only 8, goal difference plus 25, we're on 37 points. We're in second, still 5 behind Celtic, but we've got a game in hand over them. We're 12 ahead of St Mirren, who are in third. We've also got a game in hand over them as well. So, we're in the situation now, win our game in hand, and we're only 2 points behind Celtic, considering we're 8 points behind at one point.
It's going to be, but by the time we get back into league business, Derek, they're going to be 2 games in hand of us, because obviously they'll have a game this weekend when we're in the cup final. So it's going to be 2 games in hand that we have. We just need to keep the pressure on, Derek, and we need to get through this injury spell by basically just need to keep winning. It's going to be difficult, as I say, because these injuries in key positions are going to make it extra tough for us. But fingers crossed, I just saw something in that last game, Derek. I don't know if you picked up on it, but I just saw a sort of glimmer of light in the way that we played with sort of, against the odds with 10 men, but still controlling the game and still getting forward. I took a lot of heart for that. I really did, and I think the players did also. So I'm quietly confident, shall we say?
Yes. So that lines us up in the next few games here. On Thursday, the 14th of December, away against Real Betis, Europa League Group C, Game 6. That's at 8 o'clock kick-off. Other game kicks off in the group at the same time as well, so we've not got that hoodoo against us this time. No. Obviously, it's certain permutations what might happen. If Limassol win, then I think we can still lose the game effectively, because our head-to-head's better than Prague. Win and we're through to the next round. As we said in the last pod, we're guaranteed Conference League football anyway, which would still be great, but we want to progress in this league as well. Obviously, if we sit second, we go into the playoffs. If we win the group, which is if we beat Betis, that's the aim of the game, we top the group and we miss the playoff round and we go straight into the next round after that. So all to play for there. Sunday the 17th of December, this speaks for itself. It's a must-win at Hampden against Aberdeen, League Cup final. That's a 3 o'clock kick-off. Wednesday the 20th of December, this is our first game in hand. That's at home against St Johnstone in the Premiership. That's a 19:45 kick-off. Again, as you said, because we are playing on Sunday in the League Cup final, we'll still have another game in hand to play as well. Sunday the 24th of December, away against Motherwell in the Premiership. That's a midday kick-off. Wednesday the 27th of December, at home against Ross County in the Premiership. That's a 19:45 kick-off. To round out December, Saturday the 30th of December, away against Celtic in the Premiership. That's a 12:30 kick-off. So, a lot of games.
Yeah, 6 wins, Derek. That's all it's going to take.
6 wins. Just one thing that I've picked up on, though, that Celtic fans complaining about, your fixture got moved and that's no fair. Celtic play on the 23rd. We play on the 24th. Celtic play then on the 26th at 1500. We play on the 27th at 19:45. Then that's both of us into the Old Firm derby on the 30th. Yep. So Celtic have got more time to recuperate. It's maybe not about game time, it's about recuperation time with all these games coming thick and fast, especially when we've got a lot of muscle strain injuries happening just now as well. So Celtic can't turn around and say, you've got the rub of the green when it comes to fixtures. No, because they've got that one in this one once again. But anyway, enough moaning about them.
I know, you've mentioned them a lot, Derek, and we should be rejoicing now.
Yes, well, I am. So we'll now go into the news. So Dave, the AGM.
Yep.
I know we rightly laughed at Celtic's AGM a few weeks ago. However, Celtic fans really could rightly laugh at us at ours because it was a shambles, Dave, wasn't it?
Yeah, I was kind of expecting it. That there was a lot of things being said beforehand about, fans. We really need to get this done properly, get the correct questions asked, make sure we're getting the answers that we're looking for and stuff. But as usual, and I'm saying as usual because it always seems to turn into a bit of a circus, doesn't it?
Yeah. I mean, firstly, the venue was too small. Typically, we've been getting 1,200 fans into, or 1,200 shareholders into the Armadillo. I think Edmondson House only holds about 700 less if it's seated. I mean, some were put in the Blue Sky Lounge with video feeds, some were put in other places, and there was couriers running back and forward with bits of paper for questions for the board as well, which isn't ideal. I mean, as much as I like the idea of Edmondson House, I said right at the beginning, I don't think it was going to be big enough for everything we've tried to do. We've tried to be a jack of all trades with it rather than a master of one. Surely you would have seen from previous AGMs what's the attendance like, and you would have seen that no, it's going to be too small. So as much as it's a wee money-saving expedition in that respect, I would much rather it be the Armadillo. Probably looks a bit classier as well, to be honest. There was nothing earth-shattering from the statements as well, with all stuff we've really heard before. The chairman's statement was, he said he's keeping it brief rather than like the last one to get time for more questions. I think we all wish they had done a lengthy statement and had less time for questions because of the questions. The first question was more of a statement about criticising the lack of capacity and move it back to the Armadillo. I mean, you've got the directors waiting on questions for important things and you ask that. What kind of idiot do you need to be? Seriously, Dave.
I know it's it was blatantly obvious, as you said, that was the case. But why waste time, stating the obvious that's there when it had already happened? There's no point in going over it should have been there or it shouldn't have been, and what's happening. You're actually there in the moment to ask pertinent questions about what's going on. So, a stupid waste of time.
Yeah. There was a question about plans for Ibrox expansion. I mean, they gave an answer which has basically already been covered in fan forum meetings.
Yep.
The singing section placement, again, already been covered in fan forums. No defined dates or placements yet. And then Alan Harris. I'm sorry if you listen, Alan, but this was just, my God. He was on about supporter safety abroad, and it was a valid point about how some police forces treat us, and with the UEFA issue in Seville, and compared to how UEFA dealt with that, compared to how they handled the Liverpool final that same year. He then told the board that he's got an apartment in Spain. He invited Bisgrove to come and stay with him. Fuck me.
No cheek, no chance.
I mean, I can kind of see where he's coming from. It was kind of come and see how fans are treated and how it should be done and all that. But
I'll give him the benefit of the doubt there. I don't think that was possibly the way that he was meaning it, and it was just poorly phrased, shall we say.
Yeah, I mean, if you're listening, Alan, I'm sorry, but it just didn't sound good. So, yeah, next couple of questions about transfer funds for January and contract expiries. Again, nothing out of the ordinary, nothing of substance. I'm kind of paraphrasing here, but it was kind of like from the board, there's money, just let us get on with that part and we'll deal with it. Next thing, a ridiculous question about away ticket allocation as the person never got tickets and he was told to basically pick it up after the meeting with them. I mean,
every single AGM we have, there's a disgruntled supporter not happy that they never got a ticket for a certain game. Every single AGM that gets brought up, for fuck's sake. Do you know what I mean? That annoys me more than any of the other things that were asked, Derek, is these things, because, they've been going to Ibrox and away games for 40 years and they never got a ticket for fucking Aberdeen away or whatever. Ridiculous thing to bring up in an AGM with a club. Absolutely ridiculous. I mean,
it's as if, right, so I understand that my Jers is an issue and all that kind of thing. It would have been better phrasing it in a my Jers type of thing. Yes. Is it going to be relooked? But my Jers isn't going to solve the problem with other clubs continually cutting allocations.
Yeah.
Well, if you're only getting 500 tickets for a lot of teams now.
Aye.
Yeah.
For example, Tynecastle. Exactly. And it's as if fans want to blame Rangers for this happening, where it's absolutely nothing to do with them. It's, again, a complete waste of time to come in and vent your frustration about the lack of away tickets when we have got very little say over how many tickets that we can get from away fans. And I'm sure the people, the powers that be at Rangers are lobbying constantly for more away tickets to be given out for certain games. But at the end of the day, it's not our decision, is it?
No. Next thing here, there was a valid question about booing players and how it's getting the atmosphere down. It was a valid question for the fact that, booing players coming off the field, getting substituted or coming on, it is quite poor in that respect. Boo the team as a whole at full time and half time if you need to, but booing individual players, it's just a bit offside and it's not going to do their confidence any good. There are few players in that squad just now, your Dessers, your Lammers, I could go on, but they maybe need a wee bit of support. And I know we're slagging them off in here, but that's perfectly valid. We're not doing it to their face, are we?
Lesser listening.
Well, there was a surprising valid question from Club 1872 around the lack of saleable assets. John Bennett stated that the board won't comment about the squads. I mean, it's funny because he was saying less than a year ago that it's the best Rangers team he's had in his tenure at Ibrox. So funny that he's not going to say anything about the squad just now.
Yeah.
I mean, he went on to say that they're ready to support the manager and contracts will be ending for some players so we can recycle their wages. Again, nothing of real substance there.
Yeah.
There was a valid question from the Northern Irish Supporters Club saying that they need to leave bang on full time now because of the extended periods for VAR checks and all that. It's now going into 10 minutes extra time and all that injury time.
Yeah.
And they're looking to see if they can get their bus allocated to a closer spot, I think it was. Valid question. Bennett stated that he'll look into that. He did, though, make an absolute arse of something because he said after that he praised them for staying longer than the Subway Loyal.
Right.
I mean, he's got a point, but this is really not the forum to have a pop at your customers like that, is it?
No, definitely not, no.
They were asked if the club has any plans to fight back to some of the detractors out there. They've confirmed that just because the club is quiet doesn't mean that they're not working on things and they don't want to become Statement FC. And, there was a few people in the SFA and the SPFL wished we would be quiet, but I think that's a difficult one because we want blood and thunder from the club sometimes. But see, when we do, some of the fans get all squeamish about it and they don't, oh no, that's not becoming a Rangers. You either want it or you don't. I've always said Rangers should be working in the background at least, but they should be kind of telling us, yeah, we are aware, we're working on that, leave it with us. So a few valid questions about injuries that's getting dealt with. As I said, the new background staff that's coming in. And then some fucking dick asked about if the club aims to become net zero. Fuck this right off, Dave. And then the same guy apparently stormed out shouting no surrender.
Now that is like something at a sketch show. Let's be honest. That is. I mean, that's like something that you would find on BBC Scotland at 10:30 on a Wednesday night. Some sort of dodgy sketch comedy show. Where the fuck did that come from? And it's just.
I will guarantee you that nobody knows who this is, I don't think, but I will guarantee you that's some deranged lunatic from the other side who's bought one share, who's just to attend the AGM just to waste time like that.
Oh my God.
Because if that's a genuine Rangers fan, then, just give up your shares, give up your season tickets, never attend again, please. Oh
dear. Great comedy value though, come on.
Christ. So, I mean, that was kind of rounding it out, and I said this to my mates. People were wanting to grill the board on who was responsible for the shambles of appointing Beale and letting them have so much money. It's 100% valid question that needs to be asked. But at the same time, if that got asked, what kind of response were people expecting from that? I mean, for me, I think the board would have turned around and said, it was a board decision. We backed the manager because if we didn't, there would be an outcry from the fans, quite rightly so. It didn't work out. That sometimes what can happen. Yep. The players were never going to get it in the neck. They're sellable assets, so they're not going to criticise a player for being shit or anything like that. if an individual in the board took responsibility, well, then what? Are there going to be calls to sack that board member? Well, it's not really as simple as that, is it? So, yeah, it was a bit of a shambles all round. The questions, need to be a lot better. But as I said in the last podcast, Dave, when you're having these continual fan forum meetings, it's going to dilute AGMs, isn't it? Because you are getting the head ones there, you're getting Bisgrove, you're getting all the other board members, or most of the board members there every quarter. So these questions are getting taken, just not in an AGM point of view. So, yeah, we'll need to wait and see how this all transpires. As I suggested last time, it might just go down to, 2 yearly ones or something like that.
Yeah.
Anyway, moving on, we have set up a winter break friendly against FC Copenhagen. That's at Ibrox on Tuesday the 16th of January. It's at 8 p.m. Apparently we're heading out to Spain for our winter break as well, so at least it's not Dubai.
Yeah, exactly, yeah. We'll definitely not be going there.
Next thing here, senior scout John Park has left the club. I'm not sure if it's part of the ongoing scouting revamp or has Niels Copenhagen come in and he's clearing the board straight away. Park had previously been successful with Celtic and he only joined us in July 2022 as well. So wish him well in his endeavours in the future.
Yep.
And the last piece of football news here I've got is we have moved up to 28th in the coefficient rankings for UEFA. Celtic are 56. So it's, even though we had a really, really poor shambolic season last year in Europe, we're still making tracks. And I think we've already surpassed the coefficient this year from what we did last year, which wouldn't be hard, obviously, but brilliant none the same.
Yep, and here's hoping that it continues. Derek, here's hoping that, the coefficient will go up again because future successful European nights starting with Thursday.
Exactly. Yes. So, man trying to break masturbation world record has specific approach to self-pleasure.
Right, Derek, what have you been up to do?
A man claimed he was attempting to achieve the world record for time spent masturbating. His self-pleasure approach is very specific. This guy's name. 40-year-old Drake Hardy.
Oh, quality. He's looking for a starring role in some movie, him definitely.
Drake Hardy. Masturbation man. Well, he said he was going to attempt to undergo the longest period of time masturbating during a 2018 interview. The claim is to beat Masanobu Sato's 9 hours and 33 minutes, which was recognised by the Centre for Sex and Culture way back in 2009. Interestingly, the record is actually part of San Francisco's establishment Masturbatathon fundraiser. What? That event apparently raises money for various charities.
Oh my God.
This spells the self-pleasure shame and contributes to various debates around safer sex. Hardy, a master graduate in physics sciences, claimed he had already beat the record, but did it away from prying eyes. Speaking to Mel magazine at the time, he said, "I knew I could beat it, I bet you fucking did." That's the whole point. Actually, I beat the record, but by myself without a witness. I figured there's a world record for something I'm happy to be pretty good at and a chance of beating it. He added, "Who hasn't dreamed of being the best in the world at something?" Hardy claimed he can masturbate for a total of 10 hours and 10 minutes and offered readers this tried and tested methods for lasting longer.
No, I dread to think what you're about to come away with it. I really do.
He explains, first is to get in the mood by putting on some music and setting some lights.
What type of music are you talking about?
Bow, 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 bow. It's work to go beyond 6 hours, but I strive to keep it pleasurable. I won't continue if I'm not receiving pleasure. I certainly stop if it becomes painful.
Derek, just think of the money that you could be making for charity.
I don't know, Dave. Just when I think some of these stories can't. I read the headline, I read the first couple of paragraphs, and then I'm like, what?
What was the actual event in San Francisco called again?
The Masturbatathon.
Oh dear. See, we've been looking for Pepsi Max to become the pod sponsors, but I think we've been barking up the wrong tree all along, Derek.
Yes. Oh well. I don't know where to go again from that, Dave.
No, it's not like you.
So on that note, we will end the podcast. Yes, so a good podcast, Dave, all around.
Yep.
A lot of important games as ever to come up. We'll see what happens. We'll be back with post-matches for hopefully most of them anyway, but we'll see what happens.
Yeah, definitely. As massive games coming up, what I would do for, like I said, I'm not asking for much, just 6 wins in a row would be good, but we'll wait and see what happens.
Yes, so all that's left to say is thanks for listening and goodbye.
Bye-bye,
folks. Take care.
And the stadium erupts in red, white and blue. You've never seen anything like it.
Let's go.
Manchester, brace yourself. Rangers are coming!
Fuck's sake, man, the best players aren't going to want to stay now. You think O'Reilly's going to want to fucking sit with those twat bags? Fuck, man, he'd take a move to Swansea at this point.